Hi Mikel. Team news first of all. Is Thomas Partey fit to play to start in this game, and is it a game he needs to start in?
Well, he hasn't obviously trained much. He only had a session, and he would train today, so it's what it is. He was out for a few weeks, and he needs to get the rhythm.
Just some reflections on Leicester. You didn't really say too much about the use of VAR in that match, and also at the end of the game, Saliba and Gabriel seemed to be involved in some kind of confrontation on the pitch. Was that them just showing a bit of passion, or what was going on there?
Yeah, they are a happy marriage. They love playing with each other, but they are really demanding with each other, which is good, and everything is fine.
And the use of VAR at Leicester, anything to add on that?
No.
What about this game with Everton then? Is it a case of revenge after losing there earlier this month?
It's a case of doing things better than we did when we played in a few weeks ago, and earning the right to win the game. And hopefully tomorrow we will play much better than what we did that day.
Have you made the team look at the video of that match again, and what are you going to be telling them?
It's like with any opponent, we show them what they do, what they are about, what we expect to do to try to beat them, and nothing different.
Your record against Sean Dyche is quite modest. You played him 6 times and only won 1, and your teams have only scored 2 goals. What would you say about your meetings against
Now we have to improve.
If you win this game, you go to 60 points after 25 games. Only 2 previous Arsenal teams in the Premier League era have done that. That's some achievement, isn't it?
If we do it, yes, but that means nothing because we're still another 14 games to play, and it's still a long run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alison from the Premier League.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Your teams have been quite consistent of late. They've almost picked themselves, and that consistency is really good. But obviously now you've had players coming in like Trossard and doing a really good job. Is it becoming more difficult to know what your best team is now?
Well, we assess that situation every single day. The fact that we have options right now and we have some players coming from injuries give us alternatives, which is going to be crucial because players that can maintain the same level for 10 months is just impossible. And we need to change, and we have to generate alternative and be more unpredictable sometimes for opponents as well. And we have those options now.
In terms of preparation for this game, is it a bit easier? Obviously, you faced Everton quite recently, but also the fact that they've got a new manager, so perhaps you don't have to analyse quite as many games?
No, but obviously with Sean, it's quite clear what he's done and where the success that they had is coming from. And tomorrow they will prepare the game in a proper, similar way, I expect. But with every manager, it's the same. We have to look at certain matches, what they do, and try to get the right tactics to beat them, but as well the same mentality and expectation of what we demand in the game.
I've just got a more general question. I was speaking to your former manager David Moyes the other day, and he was saying how he misses some of the traditions from back in the day, like having a drink with the manager after the game. And obviously as a manager, since you come in, those traditions have gone. Are you kind of sad that you don't have that opportunity to sort of have that bonding with other managers?
I haven't had that opportunity because since I joined after 2 or 3 months later, we had COVID. And probably COVID was the catalyst of losing that tradition, which is a shame because I think it was something special and generates a certain bond with the manager. But sometimes maybe we can talk about it between us and get it back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian from Talksport.
Hi, Mikel. You had that little blip, and now you've had 2 really good away wins at Villa and Leicester. You spoke about after the victory on Saturday. What have you done differently? What have the team done differently to get themselves back onto that sort of consistent run of form they had before the little blip?
We talked about boxes, and we've been much more efficient in both boxes. I think we cut individual errors that cost us certain points in that period, and then obviously the opponents play, and sometimes the opponent deserves to get something out of the game. But certainly I think our level and the way we have played doesn't drop.
Do you think the opponents are now looking at you thinking, well, they're right back on it and they've been top by 1 week since August, and fear playing you, especially Everton at home, you're home tomorrow night?
I don't know, we don't control what the opponents are feeling or how they prepare the games. What we have to do is tomorrow in front of our crowd, go full tail, go to win the game and play well and compete really well against this team.
You mentioned your crowd quite a lot this season, how important they are at the Emirates, the fact that there's none of that sort of situation around the ground anymore that's not supportive. It's 100% buying into, even if you go a goal down, it's 100% buying into what you and the team are trying to do.
Yeah, and that's going to be crucial. And tomorrow we expect to have the same support, because with that we're going to be closer to winning that game for sure.
One last one. You were under pressure last year. You're not anymore. You're under a different pressure now. During your documentary, it showed you going home and playing football in the garden with your kids and just relaxing. How much is that a help for you, the fact that when you go home you've got something you can completely switch off and take the pressure away from you like that?
Well, you can have difficulties in your job and challenges, which we do, especially when you lose, but when you are winning as well, because this job is so demanding. But you cannot destroy your life because of that. And your family, your friends, your loved ones, the people around you, doesn't deserve to affect their lives in such a negative way because you don't win a football match. So that balance, I think, in my case, was critical. But you need some help to someone paint that picture in front of you, because sometimes when you are in that position, it's not easy to see it.
Mark from PA?
Hi, Mikel. Similar to that, really. Graham Potter mentioned you that he's under a lot of pressure at the moment, but he said he used you as an example of giving a manager time. Do you empathise and sympathise with the situation he's going through at the moment?
Absolutely, we are colleagues, and we all know the pressure, the demands, and the uncertainty that this industry has, and as well, because the fact is at the end that the ball has to go into that net, and there are many factors that sometimes prevent that you cannot control. So of course you empathize, and because you suffer, because you know how it is when you are going through those moments.
He also revealed his family and himself have been targeted with death threats and things like that. Did that ever happen to you when you were going through your hard times? And that just can't happen, can it? Really?
I prefer not to talk about that.
And just finally, with the Gabriel and Saliba incident we saw on Saturday.
Sorry?
Do you like, with what happened with Gabriel and Saliba at the end of the game, do you like your players to challenge each other, so it's not always your voice that they are challenging?
Yeah, I don't want robots. I want players with feeling, with passion, that they demand each other, but then that they have that chemistry, and those two certainly have that chemistry on and off the field, and I love that even winning, and they wanted to still to do better.
Art from the Athletic?
Hey, Mikel. Just on Bukayo, I know he probably gets understandably frustrated when he doesn't get the calls for fouls and stuff. I was wondering, have you had a conversation with him where he's maybe raised concerns, or if you've given him any advice on how to deal with those moments?
Yeah, we talk about every situation in the game and every moment that has an impact on the team or individually for him, and he needs to cope with it.
And you've mentioned, I guess, coming up with solutions for stuff like that before. I was wondering, I remember seeing a clip from when you were doing your badges, your coaching badges, and you were talking about when wingers receive the ball, you want them to come off the line. Is that one of those solutions?
There are many solutions to different things.
Okay, Tom?
Hi, Mikel. Smith Rowe and Gabriel both played for the under-21s last night. Looked good. What did you kind of assess from their performances playing for the youth team?
Really good. Obviously, they needed some minutes, and at the moment they haven't had much exposure for different situations, Jakub and him, and it was great to see them on the field, because we're going to need them in the next couple of games.
And speaking of players getting minutes, obviously with it being so competitive, there are some players that aren't. Is there, say, someone like Kieran Tierney who's not got too many minutes recently? Do you think that there's a pressure maybe in the summer that you could lose some of those players if they don't get the time?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about the best for the team, and obviously earn the players with the right to play minutes, which they all deserve, and we're going to try to do that in the next couple of games.